Hey everyone, it's I, the real Randy Chavez. I'm coming at you today with a Veve Omi update video. Guys, if you're new, welcome. If you're not, welcome back. I love y'all. Everyone say, where's Dashi? Where's Dashi? So this video is a response to what Gary Vaynerchuk said in an interview with Dan Schawbel. Dan Schawbel is a New York Times bestselling author, most recently well known just for his podcast, where he's had so many amazing, influential people on. It's just 5 questions with Dan. He just always asks him 5 questions. Always very interesting. Link down below. Definitely check out the stream, the channel. Very good. Anyway, in one of the questions, and I won't give away the whole interview, but one of the questions, he says he's asking Gary about NFTs, and then Gary goes like, "Yeah, I love CryptoPunks. CryptoPunks is really good. I love the brand that they've made for themselves, which is." I love it too. It's great. I don't own any or anything. I don't think I can afford any. But then Dan kind of turns that conversation because it's going one way. It's like, oh, what about like IP? And then he shows the Disney app. He shows the Veve app. That's weird that I call that the Disney app. I wonder if at some point, because Disney's such a huge brand, probably not. Because there'll be a bunch of other brands on there, but I feel like some kids or some people in general that maybe don't care about that app, they might just call it the Disney app, even though it has so many other brands on it. Kind of like back in the day, Full House, kids used to call it the Michelle Show, even though it was centered around a bunch of other things. They called it Michelle. So that's really interesting. But anyway, he shows the Veve app with like the Elsa hat and everything on there. And I think Dan has the full Disney set, if I'm not mistaken. I think he was showing his own NFTs. And then Gary had said something pretty interesting. He had said, what will people consider the first NFTs? Like, even though Spider-Man technically was the first premium digital collectible, the first so make no argument. The facts are that we have the first digital collectible NFTs. You could make the somewhat of an argument that Quid had put out some digital collectibles. I don't know if they were NFTs, but they were of trading cards, they were of tops, they were of whatever you like to call them. And they put those out, I don't know how many years ago. They put that out back in 2019. But again, I don't think those are really going to be called the first NFTs. Ours are the one that are confirmed on the blockchain. And this is something where that's just indisputable. But I understand what Gary's saying when he says like, well, yeah, you could, like somebody like me, myself, I could have made something on a blockchain, but it wasn't licensed by Disney. We have ours officially digitally licensed, whether it's Spider-Man, whether it's Storm, for X-Men. So we're getting all these amazing brands, and they are digitally licensed. So I thought that was pretty, what he said was interesting. I mean, you could make the argument that I said, okay, well, that first edition base set Charizard is not the first Charizard ever in existence. There was some embossed ones. There was some, obviously the Japanese run, and there was some where they had the Topps version. So there were a bunch before that one, but that one was the one by Wizards of the Coast. That's the one that everybody grew up with, so most people consider that the Charizard rookie card, even though there were a couple other Charizards before then. So understand what he's saying, and then just a little bit of a background why he's not 100% pumped with it, because a bunch of people, including me, have asked him about that before, whether it's on Twitter or not in an interview. And for those of you that don't know, he actually met with Veve back in April of this year, I believe, and he had mentioned them in a tweet a couple of times, and then all of a sudden he stopped mentioning them. So, conspiracy, put on y'all tinfoil hats. This scared my kitty, because this is something that is conspiracy Chavez time. Most likely 2 options. There's probably a third in between there, but I'll go through the first 2 and see what y'all think. Number 1 is that Gary and Veve have partnered. They signed a non-disclosure agreement, and now that's why he is no longer saying anything. That is why he said, like, yeah, Ecomi had said, hey, listen, you're very, very big. We don't need it right now. We don't need you to advertise right now. We don't want you to advertise right now. We have so many more people than we thought we'd have at this point. We'll let you know when the time is right. And then Gary's like, okay, like, tell the, guy in the wheelchair to stand up, why don't you? I won't say anything, even though he's known for saying a lot. So that's scenario one, where he kind of shies away from it, doesn't mention it. Scenario two is through the grapevine, and this probably could be public information, but even if it's private, people know it's kind of the worst kept secret, is that Gary Vee charges to advertise. He charges to be partnership. Like, if me or Logan Paul or anyone wants to say, like, hey, we're trying to build the Chavez brand, the Logan Paul brand, Mika Kitty from YouTube brand, I think from Tessa Violet now on YouTube. And then he would be like, okay, so yeah, we'll do this, this, and this. It's going to be $1 million. And, oh, hey now. For a lot of people, that would be worth it. To be able to go and say, oh, hey, you know what, $1 million to have Gary heckin' V mention and partner with my stuff, send out a tweet, maybe mention us in his next book, maybe partner with his NFTs. He has NFTs as well. Just drawings that he's incredibly intelligent. He made drawings when he was a kid. He mass produced them as NFTs and said, hey, listen, if you buy like 10 copies of my book, you get one of these NFTs, which is amazing how he gets on the New York Times bestseller list. So maybe in that interview, and again, I'm going to reference Harry Potter here, when is Gary Vee like Draco Malfoy, where he makes it on the team because of on the Quidditch team because of something that has nothing to do with how other people got on the team. Either way, however, you cannot, I don't think you can get on the New York Times bestseller list and be untalented. Gary Vee is obviously wickedly talented, has a ton more money than me, but I digress. Anyway, that could be the other thing. Maybe he said that'll be $1 million, and Ecomi's like, okay, they backpedal a little bit. Okay, actually, how much do we really need Gary Vee to mention Veve when we already have Disney partnership and Marvel and everything else? And they probably just said, like, thank you for your time. We respect it because your time is very, very valuable. But we're just going to pass on this one. And then maybe Gary Vee got a little salty. And maybe since then, that's why he's never mentioned them again. Because, hey, why am I going to give them my attention and time and advertise for them when they don't have the courtesy to give me $1 million, which is what I charge. Which is, okay, fair point. So I think either one of those two things have happened. Either you have the first one where they made a deal, he signed an NDA, that's why he doesn't mention them, or he's a little salty that, like, hey, wasted like an afternoon of his, and it just, or however long the meeting was, whether it looked like they were going to sign a deal, but then smash that $1 million in their face, and then they didn't, because it's a lot of money, and again, they have Disney and Marvel and Star Wars. It just is everything. And hopefully at some point, Pokemon, Nintendo, we'll get to that at another point. But yeah, that's my reaction. What he said was neither good nor bad. He made that reference that he recognized the Veve app and all that, but he did say in a few years' time which one will become the winner, similar to Pokemon. Yeah, the first Charizard ever made, was not the first edition base set Charizard. There were several before then, but we all recognize that as a rookie card. That's the one that's most valuable. So I understand what Gary Vee's saying, where he says maybe at some point somebody else will recognize, the NFT community and the world at large will recognize something else as the first, as the rookie Spider-Man or the rookie Walt and Mickey. I don't think so. I don't think anyone has any. I don't think Ecomi, I've said this before, has any serious competition right now. Quid, Terra Virtua, other again, all other NFT projects that are good will take market share, and they'll hold, as we're in this NFT bubble, and it'll pop, and most projects will, explode. but a lot of the good ones will hold their place, and they'll dip with everything else, and then they'll recover. But Ecomi's gonna be the biggest one, in my opinion. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor. So yeah, that's it. Everyone, please comment, like, and subscribe. Comments are good for the YouTube algorithm. Shout out to Gary Vee and Dan Schawbel just for having this conversation. Hello, kitty. All right, goodbye, guys. Goodbye. Meow, meow. Kitty, say meow, 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 meow.